Hello guys, yeah, welcome back to my channel. And in this part 2, you're going to learn basics of Blender. And let's get started. Now, the first thing is how to look around. Now, looking around, you see, you just this scroll button, this scroll wheel. You use the wheel, and you press the scroll wheel, and then you look around. It's like Roblox Studio, but you can look around like this. And the next is uh, we look around some here. This is like the properties tab for this cube, and then this is the explorer you can see, and then yep, you can extend it, do whatever you want. And next you're going to see some common tools. Now this this cube will turn into a magic, and now the first thing is move around things. So you select an object, you press G until move around, and as you can see it had moved around. But the problem with G is that it moves around according to where you're looking. For example, uh, this screen, this uh, port you're seeing is called viewport, and based on which direction you're looking at, this thing will follow. This thing will move according to you, according to where you're looking at. So you don't want to do this. Okay, so for example, you moved over here, which you don't want it to be over here. You can right click to cancel, and left click to confirm, and right click to cancel. Cancel. But you want to move along this axis, x-axis, the red one. But if you move, the problem is it's not moved correctly. It's moved bit to right. So what you do is um, you see, you undo that. By undoing, you can use Control Z. Control Shift Z is to redo, but Control Z is to undo. And you undo it. You select, you hold G, and then you press X to move along X-axis. You press Y to move along Y-axis. You press Z to move along Z-axis. Yep. Now in this case, we want it to be in Y-axis. Now we move in Y-axis. As you can see, it moved in Y-axis. Now next is how to move around. In your If you're in Mac, you press Option, and then you press the mouse scroll wheel. Yep, and then mouse scroll Option, mouse scroll wheel, and where you want to move. For example, I want to move to this area. So mouse Option or Alt and mouse scroll wheel, and you're focused in there. Option or Alt and mouse scroll wheel, you're focused. And next is now we've done about a lot of moving. If you want to rescale this part, you put S until rescale. Same situation, same thing, same situation. It is still scaling uniformly and according to our viewport. Now, if you want it to be like in the x-axis, you press X. Yep. And then if you want it in y-axis, you press Y. If you want it in z-axis, you press Z. Yep, that's how it is. And same thing follows here. If you accidentally, you know, move bit large and you want to cancel it, you right click, it's cancelled. And that's for scale. And for move to, like for moving, if you want to use a palette, you can use it over here. If you and our next is if you don't want to use a palette, you want, and for scale this is 3. Next is rotation. Now you select it, you press R until rotate, and again it's rotating based on the viewport. So uh, if you press X, it will move on x-axis. If you press Y, it moves on y-axis. If you press Z, it moves on z-axis. And same thing follows. If you put left, it confirms, and then if you put uh, right, it cancels. Now next is let's undo everything. Let's undo everything. Let it be order. Yep. And our next part is um, now you see this is the thing. Now next is you have learned about move tool, rotation and scale. Next we are going more further inside into edited modes. Now if you select an item, you press tab. Now you are in editor mode. You can edit this shape. Like for example, I want to edit this vertex. I press this vertex and I want to move it. It's now you're kind of sculpting this cube. But same thing follows, right click to cancel. Yep, and then scale, you can also do a scale, but here scale won't work that much. So I take from cancel. And the next is face, and there's different type of selection. The first selection is vertices selection. This vertices selection actually selects the vertices like this one. If I want to select this, it selected the vertice. And the next selection is the um, like the edges selection. So for vertices selection, you either press one or you can go and click this. For edge selection, you press two or you either go and click there. Now it's in edge selection mode. Now you can see you can select the edge, and one more thing, you can use shift, hold shift, and then you can um, you can you can copy, like you can select multiple things at a time. Okay, now we came. Now same thing you can do, and next is face selection. Face selection, what you actually do is you press one thing and then yep, it's like selects the face. You either go and click over here or you press 3 in your keyboard and then it selects the face of it. And pretty much that's it for this parts of selection. Now next inside the selection is a lot of components that you can use for, but here you're not going to go into that deep. Now let's go in the sculpting mode. Now if you want to go to sculpting mode, you exit out of this, this thing, you exit out of, not exit, you can be in there. You press sculpting order and then done. Yep, you can sculpt this thing however you want. For example, I want to sculpt it like trim. I want it like trim it. Now I can trim it like this. Like you can see the small different changes. Yep, but this will be useful when you're making precise bushes, like you can understand. It's yep, you can see this. It all only trims in for this, but there's different types of selection like this one. This is kind of same thing. Yep. Well, next is this infusion one. Yep, you can look at these images. You can see, and then you can calculate those. Basically, you can sculpt this, and then after that, you can go into the layout mode, and then you got the sculpted one. Yep. And then next is how to delete blocks. Now you select this, you press X, it asks to delete and selected object, you can delete. But I don't want to delete it, let it be uh, you know, a default stage. Maybe that's too far. Yeah, let's go back. Okay, now we are back. Now we are at this. Now you know some basics of this. Now there's a lot of option in editing mode, like in the editor mode. You can see we had a move transform. We will look at later. This is you can see one of the common one is knife. What you do is knife is very actually very useful. You you go and cut these in a hole, and then you when you draw some shape using this, you press enter, and then it has been cut. Now you can use this select tool to select. So you just select this, and then you can use it whatever you want. For example, I have carved it and I wanted to move it. I mean, now I have cutted this thing. Now I carved it. Now I want to delete this space. This is technically you can't move this. It's not a separate one. But now if you want to delete it, you don't want it. You press X and then you delete faces because that's setting. And then we have made a hole in this. Yep, that's the common thing for almost everything we are going to use. Now, if you guys understand this, like if you guys know this pretty well, I want you to make a cube, the default cube which you have. I want it to be like a big cube which is kind of a weird shape. Yep, you can do like big cubes. You can like how to say this thing you said. You make it bigger. You make it bigger. After that, you can go into sculpting, and then you can sculpt everywhere. And I forgot to mention you can use scroll to zoom out and in. Yep, and then you can sculpt this, sculpt however you want. And you sculpt this. Yeah, sculpt it. Done, done, done. And then yep, like something kind of a unique art you can say. And you can go to the layout mode so you can see a huge weird thing. Yep, and you can do it. And for the part 3, I'm going to teaching you guys how to make a small simple model. And basically that's all. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Bye.